you're joining me on the very last decrease of round 22, and so we're down now to a lovely round 100 stitches, and we're also ready to say goodbye to moss colour. So I'm joining just as before. I'm putting my hook through the beginning, the top of the beginning 3 chain, and I'm going to just break the yarn, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and pull that through, and I'll deal with that in a minute. But what I wanted to show you is you can see that my beret has now started to form, kind of naturally form a beret shape, which is amazing, isn't it? So we're really sort of seeing how this is going to end up. So we're on the home stretch. We're about to start that part which I didn't actually even think existed on a beret, and that is called the brim. And we're going to be doing that with coral. So I'm just going to do one final, for moss, one final needle join. Make sure you can see me, to make sure that we are fully attached. So I've already nearly lost that stitch. Look, it's gone a bit small. Let's make that a bit bigger. Okay, there's my stitch. Can you see? Gosh, it's getting quite tricky to see those, isn't it? Right, let me finish this off and we'll join in some coral and see where we go next. Right, I'm ready to join in coral, and I'm going to start in the normal way that we've been using, which is to put a slip knot on the hook, and we're going to find the beginning point. This little brim has turned under now, so it's a bit tricky, but there we go. Here you can see, sort of roughly see, going up here, our starting points. And we're moving from treble stitches now to double crochet. Oops, that's gone flying off the end there. Which means less chains to start with. So let's just find our starting point. It's here. So same as before, I've got my slip knot on the hook. I'm just going to pass the hook, easier said than done, through the top of the first stitch from the round before, and just as before I'm going to pull that through in a slip stitch to secure, so give that little end pull. So my yarn is now attached nice and securely. So before we were doing 3 chain to start, we're just going to do 1 chain to start now, because we're switching it switcheroo down to the old double crochet. So double crochet, don't forget, this is UK terminology, so US folks, you're going to know these as single crochet. And we're still decreasing at this point, and what we're going to be doing is 3 double crochet and then a decrease. So let me show you what that looks like, just in case. And I'm also going to crochet over my end here to save me a little bit of sewing in. So all I'm doing is just passing the hook underneath. Can you see underneath the end here? And as I make my stitches, that just tucks that end in there nicely, so there won't be anything to worry about. I can snip it off at the end. Right, so I've done 3 double crochet, and I'm now going to do a decrease. Now for a double crochet, it's really easy. All I'm going to do is put my hook through the work, pull up a loop, not finish the stitch, put my yarn through the hook through the work on the next stitch along, pull up a loop again, and this time yarn over and go through all 3 of those loops. And what it's done is it's pulled 2 stitches into 1 there. You can see 1, 2 at the bottom and just 1 at the top, and that's all I'm going to do all the way around. So let's just do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, and then that little decrease. 1, 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. I haven't got my teeth in, that's what the problem is. Okay, so that's all we're going to do all the way around on our first round of the rejoining in the coral. We're going to do decreases all the way around. So I'll do that and I'll see you at the end. Hello, yes I am sorry, yes it is me wearing Betty Beret. You will see that I am wearing the beret at the point before the coral band that we're now working on is added, and I'll tell you why. I actually did go ahead and finish my Betty Beret just as the pattern said I should, and blocked it, and you'll see video evidence of that very shortly. But after blocking, I
I couldn't get it on my head. I've got a very big head, sadly. So I removed the coral band, and the video or the picture here is of me wearing the beret without the coral band. I am going to go ahead and probably finish it off with a coral band, but I wanted to tell you, if you find after making this round that we're working on now and doing all those decreases, if you find that the beret is tight on your head, you've got a number of options. First of all, if it's just a little bit tight, I would leave it because blocking will stretch it a tiny bit and then it will probably be absolutely fine. If it is far too tight, I would take the round back and reduce the number of decreases. Maybe reduce them by half and try it on again. And again, if it's a little bit too tight, take into consideration that when you block it, it won't be. Or, you know, you just need to play around with those decreases. I think this is the point where you probably need to fit the beret. Don't panic if you go all the way through to the end of the beret and block it and try it on. It's still not quite right. There really is no problem in taking out those last few rounds, even after blocking and adjusting it then, which is exactly what I've done, and no hardship befell me whatsoever.
Right, I'm on the last decrease. Doesn't it look beautiful? I'm loving it. It's like a proper beret. All of a sudden, it just kind of happened. So yeah, and you can sort of see yourself making these. Well, I can see myself making these in different colours and yarns for people because it's a good. I think this is kind of a good staple pattern to have in your arsenal. Did you think you would hear the word arsenal when watching a crochet video? Probably not. Right, anyway, moving on. Last decrease. Horrible feeling I've started wrong there, but never mind. Last decrease, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch into this first double crochet. It's much trickier because it's much kind of closer to the work, but I'm going in there, pulling that close. Let's just have a little look. It's so cute. And now all we're going to do for the next, how many rounds? Let me tell you, 1, 2, 3. For the next 3 rounds, we're just double crocheting all the way around. So you probably know this, but we're just going to start each round with 1 chain just to get our hook up to the right height. And then we are double crocheting every stitch all the way around 3 times. And then that will be us finished. The construction part at least. So let me finish those so you can see what it looks like at the end of the crochet and before the blocking. See you soon. I'm nearly at the end. Now you'll see I've actually put a stitch marker on here. This isn't the one you'll have. This is from the Advent box. It's lovely, isn't it? I haven't got the ones from this box yet, but there you go. Anyway, I've put a stitch marker on because I'm here to tell you folks, it's much less easy to see the beginning and end of a round when you're working double crochet because the stitches are that bit smaller. So you might want to do that, you might not. But what that lovely stitch marker does tell me is that we're now at the very, very, very end of the Betty Berry project. So I'm going to finish and close in the normal way, just with a little slip stitch, break my yarn, and I'm going to do 1 more needle join to finish this beautiful project. And then I think what we ought to do is have a little look at it and then have a little chat about blocking it, because it's a very, very important part of the procedure or the beret creating process is the blocking, because that's what's going to sort of pop it into that final shape and smooth out any lumps and bumps and just make it look, we'll just finish it beautifully, because if you're not a blocking fan already, you probably will be after this. It certainly gives a finish to your pieces that is very different to leaving them as they are now. It's tricky to see because of the overhead camera, but if I sort of hold the piece that way on, you'll see I've got an indent going in here with this kind of, it's sort of more of a, less of a Betty Beret and more of a Sarah Sombrero going on in there. We don't want that. We want this lovely, flat, smooth, beautifully finished finish, you'll have slight undulations. Let's all say that word, undulations. Slight undulations where you've had your decreases and increases going on. All of that, see the undulations? All of that will be smoothed out and disappear when you block your beret. And what I will do is I'll obviously change the camera angle then as well, so it's much more visible. But for now, we have put our hook down for the last time on Betty Beret. And thank you ever so much for sticking with me if you've watched us thus far. Let's just finish it off together and make this something very beautiful to be proud of.